All right, boys and girls, so you completed day one of this graphic organizer on your own, referring to the text slinky, scaly, slithery snakes that we were introduced to in that video. And you had to identify the main idea or what this section of the text was mostly about, as well as two key supporting details from the text. So let's talk about these pages. You had to identify the main idea and details for pages 10 and 11. So you can see here again, I'm on this split screen, but I am open to page 10 and I can scroll over to page 11. So as I read through this page, what I learned was that it mentions pit vipers, rattlesnakes, and then even cobras. And the author on these pages was really telling me about the different techniques that snakes have for really warning other animals. I even learned that they're sending, some use sound as a warning, right? So if I wanted to identify the main idea on these pages, I might say something like, the section of the text is mostly about snakes having many ways to avoid attack by other animals. Now, if you look, boys and girls, right here in this very first sentence, snakes have many ways to avoid attack by other animals, and then it even lists some of those animals. Sometimes, I know we talked about this in the video, but sometimes your main idea is stated right there on the page for you. Most often in fourth grade text, you have to infer the main idea, meaning putting the details together to determine what it was mostly about, but here's actually stated right there for you. So now I'm going to scroll over here on my graphic organizer, and I need to find some details from the text that support that main idea. Well, something that I learned right here on this first page was that pit vipers and rattlesnakes both use sound, right? The pit viper beats its tail against dry leaves to make a warning sound, and rattlesnakes, as we know, our background knowledge for most of us, we know that they have that built-in rattle, and they shake that repeatedly to warn other animals to stay away or they will bite. So one detail that I might include would be that pit vipers and rattlesnakes both use sounds to signal a warning to other animals. Now, maybe you only included one example, like the pit viper, and you talked more about what that snake does, or maybe you talked about the rattlesnake and how it uses its rattle. That's okay. That is still a detail that supports the main idea. I just kind of put those two snakes together. Now when I move over here to page 11, I might talk about the cobra now in this box, providing another key detail that supports that main idea of avoiding or sending signals to other animals to avoid that attack. So what I learned about the cobra, and this is a little bit of my background knowledge too, I knew that it fans out it and creates that hood, but what I know is that, let's see, let me go into my graphic organizer. Cobras raise the front of their body when they spread their hoods. You know, I didn't know that it was called a hood, but I learned that here in the text. I also learned, again, this is where I just like to combine some of these ideas. They also, it says here, some cobras hiss or growl. And then the most dangerous don't just threaten, but they actually spit that poisonous venom at the eyes of their enemies. All of those details support that snakes have ways of avoiding attack. So I'm going to include all of those in one statement. Cobras raise the front of their body when they spread their hoods, hiss or growl, and even spit poisonous venom. And again, you may have included only one of those ideas. That is still correct. Okay, tomorrow we'll go over day 2 and we are focusing on pages 14 through 18. Great job today.